Yes, welcome back to another fun week of art. This week we're going to draw owls. I love owls. I think they're just really cute. This book was my inspiration. It's called Little Owl's Night, and I found it actually on a read aloud separately. So I am going to attach that with this lesson. So if you want to go back and hear the story read to you, I think that would be a really good idea. And that way you can see the pictures really clear. All right, so this is my inspiration, like I said, and I love how little owl is sitting on this tree branch at night with the moon. Kind of reminds me of our bat project. So this is going to be another 2-week project because it's going to take 2 class periods. We're going to draw the owl today. All right, so here is my example, one that I already drew, and I'm going to show you how to do this with me. So at any time during this video, you might want to stop as you're doing each step. You can just hit pause, and then you're not in a hurry to catch up. So I think that's a really good idea. Also, I'm going to tell you, you probably should use a pencil. I'm going to be drawing straight with a black crayon today so you can see it really well from my camera, but it's always a good idea, like I've said, to draw with a pencil in case you make a mistake. Draw real lightly, and then you can go over the top of your pencil with your black crayon. Okay, so I did draw mine with a pencil real lightly to start. You probably won't be able to see it very well, but I also need that as a guide before I go ahead straight with my crayon. So I'm going to start off, and I'm going to have you do that, is just have a plain piece of white paper. And in the center of your paper, you're going to make 2 circles. Watch me do this. You can pause it, and then you can follow me. And when you're ready, then you can push play. So I'm making 1 circle and another circle. Now you don't want these 2 circles to be really close together. I would say you want to leave room for 2 or 3 fingers to be in between. So take your time, and you're going to make 2 circles. Then you are going to color them in with your black crayon. Now, I guess the thing is I told you to draw this with a pencil first, so save that for later. Or you can just go ahead and, if you're confident that you like your circles, you can draw those black. Okay, the next thing you're going to do is you're going to draw 2 circles around each of these circles. Watch me, but we're not going to color these in. So 1, 2. That's why I wanted to leave a little room in between each of the big ones so I'd have room for these. Now, if you don't have room for 2 circles, you could try to do 1. That's up to you, but 2 is ideal. It looks more like Little Owl in the book. All right, so after you have these circles in the center of your page, then you are now going to create the little beak. And the beak is a diamond shape, and really a diamond is just a square that's turned sideways. Look, I just broke my crayon. That happens sometimes, but broken crayons still color. Sometimes I push too hard. So I'm going to put a little diamond shape there. Remember I said it looks like a square, but it's on its side. So now I have little owls, 2 eyes, and a beak. Okay, now I am going to draw the top of little owl's head. I'm going to go ahead and make a little arc at the very top, and I'm going to stop and add the little owl ears, just like that. Then I'm going to go back to the edge of the ear, and I'm going to make a big, wide, almost U or bowl shape for Owl's head. Now I'm going to make Owl's body. And do the same thing, only a little smaller underneath Owl's head. It's like an oval, but we don't show the whole oval. I'm going to add 2 wings Now, I did this one bigger than my other one, so I'm just going to try to get it in there. And all I'm going to do is just make like a little wing shape with 3 indents. However many you can fit is fine. And I'm going to make another, like a U shape right here. Almost reminds me of a baby bib, but it's not. It's the front chest of our owl. And now I'm going to add 2 feet. Just by making little marks similar to the wings of the owl, but like that. I'm going to go back to this U that I made there on the chest, and I'm going to make a little bit of a pattern to add some texture. Now, texture in real life is how something feels, but in art, sometimes you won't be able to feel the texture. You can't feel my texture right now because you're watching it, and if it's 2-dimensional and flat, you can't really feel it, but you can imply it by making it look like texture by adding lines. So I'm just going to make some dots like this so it looks like feathers. All right, now I'm going to draw a little tree for little owl to be sitting on, like in the book. I'm going to grab the book again. Now, on this cover of the book, the tree's real thin with some branches off to the side. It doesn't matter where you place it because you're the artist, and our owl is bigger on this page. So I'm going to go ahead and draw my tree branch around my little owl. And then owl's sitting on it, so I'm going to add some branches here. And then I'm going to add some more texture. So I'm going to, before I do that though, I don't want to forget that cool moon, which we kind of used a moon last week too, so I'm going to go ahead and add a moon. This time, I'm going to put this moon, and it's up to you where you want to do it, just looking like it's behind owl and my tree, and make a couple lines for texture. On the cover of the book, the moon's in the middle, and on my first example that I showed you that I already had drawn, my moon's over to the side. So it really just depends on how much room you have and where you want your moon to go. And then finally, I'm going to go ahead and add more texture with some crayons. Now, when I do this, I'm not going to color the whole page in, because next week we're going to add a little bit of watercolor paint. So anywhere where you have a crayon, because a crayon is made of wax, and you add watercolor with the water paint to it, the crayon will pop up through it. It'll resist the paint, and you'll see that more next week. So today we're going to do this with the crayon. I'm going to go ahead and get a brown crayon. This broke earlier too. And I'm going to just add a little bit of texture to my tree that I want to show, but I'm not coloring the whole thing in brown. So I'm going to go ahead and maybe add some solid oval dots just to look like some tree bark. And I'm going to add some lines. And you can make them kind of curved if you want, because remember, in nature, nothing is perfectly straight. It's perfectly imperfect. And I don't want to forget this area over here either. Maybe I'll add a little brown mark in that for the branch. All right, so then I added some brown design, and then I'm going to go back for the wings or the feathers there. I'm going to just add a little bit of orange. Next week we're going to paint little owl brown. So I'm going to have the orange. I think they'll pop up nicely with brown paint. And I'm just making some little hills designs for the lines on the wings. On this chest here, I'm going to add some colors also. So I'm going to keep that orange that I had in my hand and color some of that in also. I'm not really doing a set pattern. I'm just kind of spreading it out a little bit to what I think might look interesting. I'm going to switch it out, and I'm going to give it a little yellow. Yellow will show up nicely. I'm also going to color Little owl's little feet, yellow. And beak. I might add a little bit more there. And I actually am thinking I want to get more of a brighter orange for some feathers here, just to show some contrast and some more interesting color. It's not a lot, but I like the look of it. You could even add, you could also probably, even if you have a white crayon, do a few of them white. That's up to you. I'm going to color all mine in. Okay. Now, I just talked about white, so that's the fun part. You're going to take your white crayon and you are going to add some stars to the sky. Now, we did that last week when we did this, the bat pictures with stars in our night sky. We're going to do it again. The only challenge here is that this is white and we're going to put it on white paper. So you're not going to see it very well today, but when we add dark paint over it next week, they're just going to pop out. So I'm just making like X marks for some stars anywhere where I'd want them to be in the night sky. Or you can make little dots if that's hard for you. It'll look just nice. It'll look fine. And then I actually forgot about a few leaves that I wanted to add. So I'm going to add a couple outlines, not colored in solid, of some leaves right here on my branch, just to add a pop of color. Now notice the only thing I colored in real solid was the black part of the eyes, the beak, the beak, the little feet, and then this area of the chest. I'm leaving everything else pretty outlined and white because I want to add paint later. So that'll work out really nice. So that's where we're going to stop for today. Part 2 of this is going to be to add watercolor. Now, if you don't have watercolor at home, that's okay. You don't need to run out and buy it. I'll talk about alternatives for next week, but I am going to demonstrate for you next time how I want you to go about using watercolor for our owl. I can't wait to see what your owl drawings look like. Now remember, yours does not have to look just like mine. And actually the two that I drew are similar, but they're different. So I did some different things to it. This one, I'm showing more of the branch that the owl is sitting on than the other one. And I have a little bit more leaves. It depends on how big you draw it and what you do. And I placed my moon in a different position. So have fun. I can't wait to see your cute little owls. And next week, we're going to add watercolor.